This is Global Ummah Unity, faith, history, and truth in one voice.
Peace be upon you all, and welcome to this special episode on one of the most profound events in human history, the first revelation in the cave. In this 20-minute narration, we will journey back over 1,400 years ago to a moment that changed the course of humanity forever. The moment when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received the very first words of divine revelation in the solitude of a mountain cave. Let us begin with a glimpse into the world of Arabia in the 6th century. Mecca was a bustling trade city, home to the Kaaba and tribes of varying wealth and power. The people, however, had largely abandoned the monotheism of their forefather Abraham, falling into idol worship, tribalism, injustice, and a society where the weak were oppressed and the powerful ruled without compassion. Born in this environment in the year 570 CE was Muhammad ibn Abdullah, an orphan raised with deep moral integrity, honesty, and humility. Known among his people as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, he was respected long before any claim to prophecy. As he grew older, his heart grew heavier from witnessing the injustices around him, the burying of infant girls, the abuse of orphans, the exploitation of the poor, and the corruption of the elite. In his early 40s, Muhammad began to retreat more frequently to a cave known as Hira, nestled in the mountains near Mecca. There, in complete solitude, he would contemplate the Creator, seek answers, and reflect deeply on the state of his people. His heart longed for truth, for guidance, not for himself alone, but for all of humanity. Night after night, he would climb the rugged path to the cave, sometimes taking provisions with him for days at a time. He would gaze at the stars, pray in silence, and call out to the unseen God he knew must be out there. He did not yet know what was to come, but his soul was being prepared for a message so immense it would shake the mountains. And then it happened. In the year 610 CE, during one of these retreats in the month of Ramadan, while Muhammad was alone in the cave, a sudden presence filled the space. The angel Gabriel, known as Gabriel, appeared before him in a form overwhelming and awe-inspiring. The angel embraced him and said, "Iqra, read." The prophet, startled and unknowing, replied, "I am not one who reads." Again the angel held him and commanded, "Iqra, read." A second time he responded, "I am not one who reads."
After the astonishing experience in the Cave of Hira, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not receive further revelation for a period of time. This pause is known as the fatra, or the interval. Days passed, weeks, perhaps even longer. The silence was heavy. He was unsure what to expect, and his heart longed for reassurance. Was it real? Was he chosen? Or had it all been a dream? But in this silence, there was mercy. Allah gave his messenger space to reflect, to digest, and to recover. The awe of Jibril's presence still lingered in his chest. The verses continued to echo in his ears. Then the call returned. Once again, the presence of the angel Jibril filled his space, but this time with a different command. "O you who is wrapped up in garments, arise and warn, and glorify your Lord, and purify your garments, and avoid uncleanliness." This marked the beginning of the public mission. No longer a passive observer of the world, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was now the voice of truth in a land darkened by ignorance. The mission had begun. At first, the Prophet began his call to Islam in private. He invited those closest to him, family, friends, and those who trusted his integrity. Among the very first to accept his message were Khadija, his devoted wife, Ali ibn Abi Talib, his young cousin, Zayd ibn Haritha, his adopted son, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, his close friend and companion. From Abu Bakr alone, several influential companions came to Islam, including Uthman ibn Affan and Talha ibn Ubaidillah. The early believers were few, but they were sincere, devoted, and brave. But not everyone welcomed the message. As Muhammad's teachings challenged the core of Meccan society, idol worship, injustice, classism, the Quraysh grew uneasy. They began to mock him, label him a poet, a madman, a sorcerer. But the Prophet, peace be upon him, stood firm. His heart was protected by faith. He did not retaliate. He preached with patience and wisdom. His followers, however, began to feel the sting of persecution. Some lost their wealth, others were tortured. Yet their faith remained unshaken. What made his call irresistible to many was not only the message, but the messenger. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a living example of compassion, honesty, and courage. He smiled even when rejected. He forgave even when harmed. He shared even when he had little. And so, even in these early days, with only a few followers, no army, no wealth, the seeds of a revolution had been planted. A revolution of the heart, of the soul, and of society.
With the command to preach openly, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, ascended Mount Safa, a small hill in Mecca, and called out to his people. One by one they gathered. He asked them, "If I were to tell you that an army was approaching from behind this hill, would you believe me?" They answered, "Yes, we have never known you to lie." Then he declared, "I am a warner to you before a severe punishment." The message of Islam was now no longer a whisper. It was a voice of truth, echoing through Mecca. The leaders of Quraysh were furious. They ridiculed the Prophet, slandered him, and tried to discredit his message. His own uncle, Abu Lahab, cursed him in public. But despite the hatred, many continued to embrace Islam. The poor, the marginalized, and the seekers of truth found in this new faith a dignity and justice they had never known. The Quraysh intensified their oppression. Believers were beaten, tortured, and isolated. Some were killed. Sumayya, a former slave, became the first martyr of Islam. Her only crime was declaring her faith. The Prophet himself was not physically attacked at the stage, but he was mocked, shunned, and his path was littered with obstacles. Still, he persevered. Despite the trials, the Prophet responded only with patience and dua. He met hostility with calm. He never compromised the truth, yet he never forced anyone to believe. His message was clear. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. As the hour turns, we now reach the end of the first hour in this journey through the early life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. From solitude in a cave to the bold call to truth in public squares, his mission had begun. In our next episode, we will explore the migration to Abyssinia, the boycott, and the most difficult year of his life. Until then, may peace be upon you.
Thanks so much for watching this video on Global Ummah Unity. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep uncovering the untold stories of the Islamic world. Together, see you in the next one, inshallah.